Today's podcast is brought to you by Audible.com. Get a free audiobook download and a 30-day free trial at www.audibletrial.com/WiseGuyRadio. Over 180,000 titles to choose from for your iPhone, Android, Kindle, or MP3 player. That's at www.audibletrial.com, AUDIBLETRIAL.com/WiseGuyRadio. This is the Wise Guy Radio Show, a podcast dedicated to educating and inspiring through conversations with today's top talents in the world of glass. We will be dissecting their journeys in hopes to deliver actionable content that you, the artist, can start implementing now, helping you grow not only as a creative spirit, but also a successful artistic entrepreneur. With a little organization, relationship building, and your artistic ability, you can obtain greatness. Climb aboard, whether an artist, retail owner, or enthusiast. We have a ton of fun in store for you. Welcome to the Wise Guy Radio Show. Hey, que pasa, amigos and amigas? Welcome to the Wise Guy Radio Show, episode number 42. This is Jay Michael, your host, and I am here to educate, inspire, and entertain all you folks that are interested in glass, whether you're a glass artist, glass enthusiast, collector, retail owner, shop owner, or you're new to the show and have no idea what the hell I'm talking about. I am hopefully here to open up your eyes and your mind to the world of glass art. Whether you are a functional glass artist, a fuser, a soft glass furnace worker, working soft glass on the torch, making beads, fusing, slumping, etc. There is a ton of stuff in the world of glass that can be made, and we are here to bring it all to you. Today's guest is a newbie glass artist named Mike B. He is a Florida-based glass artist, but is currently residing in Texas. And I was kind of wanted to bring him on because I initially saw his work on Instagram, and him and I have been chit-chatting here and there because he is a Floridian-born kid. I saw his work and was pretty intrigued by it and was interested on how, being only on the torch for so long that he's been, that his glass is as clean as it is. So I thought I would bring him on and share his story for all you out there, just to kind of get some insight into the world of a new glass artist. Hopefully there's some things you guys can take from him and his story, his foundation, and who he learned from. And we kind of go all over the place. It was a fun conversation. It was actually a second take in the show, which you will hear in the beginning. I explain more about that. But him and I have a pretty good rapport. We've been chit-chatting here before and after the show since. And so it's always fun to, build relationships and share stories. And he in particular, being a younger kid, and I'm going to say kid because he's in his early 20s. Actually, I think he actually just turned 19, if I remember correctly. But anyways, it's been a couple days since I did the post-production. So, but either way, I was definitely excited to share his story with you. Also wanted to give you guys a heads up and let you know that this Wednesday show, we will be going over some end of the month kind of tax, business, kind of accounting type stuff. I'm going to be doing my P&L statement for the month of September, and I'm not going to get into specific numbers necessarily with you guys, but I do want to share the process of what I go through and the habits and routine that I'm getting into to keep myself organized, so that when it comes time to do my quarterly estimates and what have you, I'm already on the ball. And it makes my life a lot less stressful, and hopefully by you guys doing the same type of thing, it will also help out as well. So other than that, we had an awesome weekend up in Tobacco Leaf, in Tallahassee, Florida, for their their 6th-year anniversary party. And in episode 41, if you have listened to it, you've heard kind of our story about the show and getting organized and whatever. So if you haven't heard that one yet, definitely go back and listen to it, because there's some insight and a list that we put together to help you stay organized in terms of going and doing shows, especially if you've never done it before, and also if the shop you're going to has never done them before either. So other than that, not a whole lot else going on right now. This week is big down in Miami. Tomorrow and Wednesday is the Big Galleria show. First time they've come to Florida, and this is actually the second trade show that Florida has. And I have an opportunity to go to and go play and go see everybody, but I have decided to go ahead and stay home and take care of some things here, have my kid time, because I have been out of town for most of the weekend. So other than that, just wanted to share that event. And also, I guess Age is going on also in Baltimore during the same time period. So we have 2 trade shows going down on the East Coast of the country over the next couple days. Age up in Baltimore, and then we got Big down in Miami. Pretty cool stuff. But one thing I do want to say before I go is I am pleased to announce that we officially have our very first sponsor for the show. And our first sponsor is Green Flash Glass out of Tallahassee, Florida. And Green Flash Glass has been around for a long time, several years now. Jeff, who is the owner of the company, he's been in the game for 16, 17 years now. And I'll be bringing him on here next week, next Monday, actually. He will be Monday's Artist of the Week, and we are going to be discussing his background and past and where he's at now with Green Flash and the company, what they are looking at in the future as well, and some big plans that they have going on in the works that we discussed about, including with us here at the Wise Guy Radio Show. So all his links will be on the show notes page, but you can just go check them out. They are a business-to-business wholesale-only store or company, so you can still go to check out their website. It is greenflashglass.com, and gives you a basic overview of their product lines and what have you. But again, we are super thrilled and honored to have our very first official sponsor for the show, not just an affiliate, but an actual sponsor, which is Green Flash Glass. So check them out on Instagram as well at Green Flash Glass. You can look them up on Facebook. They're there as well, and also their site, which is greenflashglass.com. They will be in Miami this week at the Big Galleria show. They are going to be in booth 918. So anybody out there that's going to be going to the Big Galleria show, whether you're smoke shops or whatever, and you guys are checking this out here, this episode today, while you're down in Miami over the next couple of days, go check them out. Again, they're in booth 918. That's Green Flash Glass. So thank you all at Green Flash so much for helping me pay my bills with the show and support my time that I put into this. And any other glass artists, retail smoke shops, distributors, anything out there, anybody in this world of glass who wants to be a sponsor on the show, definitely hit me up at info@wiseguyradio.com. And we are now putting together all of our packages and stuff for sponsorships, especially for the artists that want to get their brand out there, whether their logo on the website and also newsletter. We have 5 outlets that is included in our sponsorship package for exposure for your company. And then just depending on the levels that you choose in terms of sponsorship levels will also depend on exposure there as well. But we are super excited to have a platform where we can help you guys expand your businesses, get seen and known, especially because this is a worldwide broadcasted show. I mean, literally. So whether you're listening to me in Korea, whether you're listening to me in Australia or Spain or Canada, I mean, anywhere in the world, opportunities are there to purchase glass from a lot of the American artists that I bring on. And I will be bringing on other artists that are glass artists from all over the world. I'm just kind of slowly getting together and getting all my list of artists that I want to be contacting. And anybody else out there that wants to suggest somebody or would like to be on the show as well, feel free to contact me. Again, my email is info@wiseguyradio.com, and that's WYZGUYradio.com. And also make sure you go to wiseguyradio.com and check out our newsletter and sign up for that. We have lots of exclusive content, and also in our informational area we have on the site, we are also adding all of our PDFs on there, including checklists and flyers and release waivers and stuff. So go there and to the website, and you can actually download the release waiver that we printed up and put out there for all you guys out there that are selling and sending functional glass in the mail. That way you can have this thing printed out and have it in your little box that makes whoever is receiving it aware that they are buying something that is intended for legal purposes. And other than that, hope you all have a beautiful week. We'll be back on Wednesday, and we will talk to you all soon. Happy Melton. Have a wise night, and we will be back soon. Enjoy the show. Love you guys. What's going on, Mikey? How you doing, brother?
I'm doing good, Jason.
Awesome. Well, just so everybody knows out there, I am a complete douchebag and erased our last time we chatted. So we are now doing round 2 on this, and which is kind of nice to do a do-over because I can kind of delve into more of the conversation and pick your brain a little bit more, dude. So it might be a little easier for you as well.
Oh, yeah, not say all the stupid shit I said last time.
Oh, man, I need like a manual on exactly what it is I'm doing on a daily basis. Otherwise, I might trip and hurt myself or some dumb shit, like erase complete episodes and whatever.
A life manual.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
Maybe I'll make that as part of my business plan model. Have the life manual, how to live as a glass artist, or some dumb shit.
Perfect.
So yeah, man, good to have you on the show. It's kind of interesting. I got you on here because, for one, we been chit chatting here and there, and also because you have been doing this just for about 6 months now. And when you started sending me pictures of your work, and I came across it, I was really impressed by how clean your work was, and it seems like you've got a strong foundation behind you based on just your work alone. It's amazing, how much your work speaks for yourself, kind of deal. So if you want to kind of give us some background on where you guys started and how you guys started, and also who is your influence in terms of like a master or a teacher.
Yeah, first of all, thanks, man. I really appreciate that.
Hell yeah.
Just got into the working of the glass at a demo just this past couple of months ago when I was 21, just turned 21. Went out to a bar, and Craig Lewis was out there just in front of the bar, throwing down some stuff, and he offered to teach me. And I went down there, took a lesson with him, made an implosion marble, and I just went and bought my torch, bought everything I could, set up in my parents' shed, and that was it.
Heck yeah. So where are you located now? I know you were in West Palm for a while.
Yeah. I'm out in Kingsland, Texas now, out in the middle of the hill country.
Nice. So you moved out there and got set up, and you're going to school out there?
No, just mountain glass.
Oh, nice. So what was your main drive to then move to Texas? Just the glass scene out there, or is it just kind of up and get the hell out of Florida kind of deal?
Yeah, I had originally moved to Texas for another job that kind of fell apart. It wasn't what I wanted to do,
Yeah, it seems like you were meant to be out there, though, now that you've gotten behind the torch. It's kind of weird how life works that way,
Oh, definitely. I never would have thought. I mean, I always thought I was destined to be some band director, warming the minds of young children, and now I'm like, I don't want to see anyone under 18 just go away.
Yeah, I hear you. So you have a music background for yourself, or is it just mostly an instructional music background?
No, I played trombone, saxophone, guitar, the better part of my life. I think I started when I was third grade with clarinet, and just kind of progressively moved through school, and went to school in Tampa for music education.
Nice.
And that just it was fun, but it became burdensome, really. Like, you have to be in your practice room for 6 hours a day. You have to be all of these things at one time. I was like, I want to be this thing, and they're like, no, you're going to be this thing.
Yeah, that's interesting. It seems like, too, just kind of on a side note, like I find a lot of glass artists that are successful as artists, not necessarily monetarily, but actually in the craft and the art itself, have some sort of hands-on experience like music, or some kind of hand-eye coordinated type of, finger movements, kind of structural kind of thing that it seems like really helps the transition. Because I know myself personally, I have a music background as well. And I've been playing guitar since I was like 6. Now, I'm not any kind of like maestro or anything like that, but I can pick up most instruments and play them. And the hand movements and what have you seemed really easy for me because I think of that background that I have, and I'm sure for yourself as well. Kind of the same kind of idea.
Definitely. A lot of the things transition over, especially with the fingers from playing bass. It gave a lot of finger strength, which is really great for rolling, especially when you get up to those some 36 mil tubes and 44.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah, it definitely gets bigger. Yeah, I'm actually doing this now for 16. That was like the worst grammatical statement I could have said. Been doing this. But yeah, so 16 years now, man, I've been doing this shit, and just a side note for everybody else. Again, side notes here all day long. Be careful with your thumb muscles and tendons and overstraining those, especially when that kind of rotation and rolling motions. I'm finding now, after doing it for so long, that I'm definitely having a little pain in my thumb. And I did actually, my last Wednesday show, I believe, was on the repetitive stress of the hand that we can deal with. Like I'm having trouble opening jars and closing cups and stuff like that with my left hand. So I'm trying to really ease on it and let it heal. But just kind of a little side note there for anybody out there listening that does work with bigger, heavier stuff, and just definitely keep an eye on your hands and your thumbs. For sure.
Yeah, everyone go watch that hand stretch. I saw that, and I've been doing it the past couple of days, and it is awesome. Oh. It feels amazing.
Yeah, dude, it's crazy. Like when I was first shown that, my master Gordon, who taught me my foundation, he had some carpal tunnel wrist issues, and he showed me a couple different stretches, and that was like the main one that seemed to benefit the most. We can really feel all your metacarpals in your wrist open up, and your hand tendons and everything stretch out real good, and it's a nice little breathing exercise if you breathe along with it. Kind of yoga movement in a sense. But yeah, dude. Yeah, like he said, I did a little 15-second kind of video on Instagram. If you guys want to go check out my Instagram, it's at jmichaelglass, and I did a little stretch hand exercise. And you can do it anywhere, whether you're taking a poop or sitting at a red light, or whatever. It's always a good warm-up to do, throughout the day. Just think about it and do it. So, but yeah, man, so back to your beginnings. So you see this demo, did you have an experience before he actually brought you on the torch, or was it like, come to my studio and I'll teach you kind of deal?
I watched a couple of videos on YouTube. The Clinton Roman videos especially helped, setting up that flashlight on a raised structure, and rotating those dowel rods so you can see where in the flame you're supposed to be. That was really nice.
Interesting. I'll have to make a mark for that. I haven't seen that video before. It's a good idea.
Yeah, Clinton Roman. So you want to be a glass blower?
Nice. Heck yeah. Yeah, I would definitely make a mark on that. So you went from that, and then did you approach them about lessons, or did you go to their studio and kind of hang out and worm your way into there to kind of let them know you're interested type of deal, or was it just you walked in there with cash in hand or something?
It was at that demo. We had set up a day, and I just went down one day for an afternoon and hung out with them. And Craig took the afternoon off and showed me. He showed me, and he really instructed. It was probably the absolute best thing I could have done to start out with. He was such a wonderful teacher. It still is a wonderful teacher, I should say, for anyone that's in the Austin area that wants to blow glass. Definitely hit him up. He instructed me as if, how he wanted to learn it. Mm-hmm. And he never let me, get off of anything. And it was really constructive, and it molded a lot of the stuff that I do today. Yeah,
it's important, man. It's especially for someone of that caliber to have the amount of time he has behind the torch, and also the teaching time that he's got too. It's like when I teach personally, and any classes that I've taken in general, the instruction's always like, do as I say and do as I do for like the first 3 months or 6 months or however long it takes. And then you start to kind of find your own way on how to do things, and you put your own signature into it in a sense, And but to have that structure from the very beginning, it's such a big deal, man. It's huge. So I'm happy to hear that, because again, I see it in your work. I mean, your work is for being on the torch for 6 months. It's like I would think that you've been doing this stuff for a couple of years. Like I know personally, like my implosions that I do some pretty nice ones. It's been a while since I've done them, but when I was first making them, and they were, even after 6 months, it looks, they were nothing like what you're doing. So round of applause for you, for sure.
Thank you. Yeah, I attribute a lot of that to what Craig taught me, though. With that instruction or without it, I don't think I would have been felt comfortable to just go off on my own like that. But he really made sure that I knew at least, what to start with, and then to just build off of that.
Heck yeah. Did he go over like a day of safety in the shop kind of deal as well?
Oh yeah, the absolute first thing we did was to talk about safety. There's a lot of common sense things, shoes, which ones to wear and whatnot, where the fire extinguishers were. And then he focused in on a lot of things like the gas safety and eyewear. Definitely that was the most important thing. And then, the ventilation. That was probably tied for the most important thing.
Yeah, that's huge. Yeah, it's like, it's always that whole idea of building your studio around your ventilation, just because it's so important, especially depending on with the size you have. You can kind of base your amount of volume need removed from the studio plus the air brought in based on square footage and all that kind of stuff. And I think OSHA actually has some information online, which I'm going to make a note for that right now, that gets into specifics on what they recommend for proper air out and air in. Because a lot of times I've seen and been in studios where you can feel the air getting brought out of the room, but there's not enough being brought back into the room, so like you have this weird oxygen lack of, per se, in the studio where you don't really feel too good because you're not having enough air coming in. Like I know a lot of vents, I've seen, like hoods for restaurants, will have like an actual extra shell around it that's got a basically like an empty space that brings air in, so you can have that extra fresh air coming in. So it sucks right out of the freaking hood itself, but it's still drawing air from that instead of also drawing from everywhere else around the room. Just kind of a weird thing, but it makes a big difference. Because you can literally suck the air out of the room. Which
I guess I'm fortunate enough. I don't know that experience. I haven't felt that yet. I guess all the places I've been in have been pretty well done.
Yeah. It's important, absolutely, because you can always tell when you walk into a studio, and you can tell if it's gassy or not. You can kind of smell the off gas from the torch, or the glass even. Has a smell to it sometimes.
Right. Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's weird stuff. So when you got started, was the implosion kind of pendant idea was like the very beginnings of getting you started to kind of show you the techniques and get you used to the torch and stuff?
Yeah, he just showed me a simple 6-dot implosion marble, probably the size of a dime. I actually still have it. I stuck it on a pipe.
Nice.
that I kept. It's displayed somewhere. But that was it. Just this little marble, and then he showed me how to make one, and then I made one with him watching, and then we both made one at the same time. And, I could watch and look over and see what he was doing, and he looked over and would instruct me, like, I'll put a little bit more oxy in the flame, pull it out a little bit, and press now. It was great.
Heck yeah. Did he recommend, like, specific colors that work better than others for doing implosions?
No, but we used Mega Mai Tai, and he showed me how that worked with flame striking it, and it changed the coloration. It was awesome.
Yeah, it's fun stuff.
And then after that, I just kind of guessed, picked out colors that I thought would look good. A lot of them at first didn't look good.
Yeah, I always find like cadmium colors, like the crayons and stuff, they're not always the best to use, just because of the boiling situations you get into. Even if it's encased in clear and you're working like a really soft, nice flame, it doesn't really matter sometimes. So those colors are kind of weird. Like I've seen some nice dot patterns done with, you can do it. It just takes a lot more, I guess, more slow patience-wise to.
Oh yeah, patience.
Hell yeah, and you're working all of those on at first on a solid rod. I guess I'm taking it like solid implosions.
At first, yeah, I didn't start working hollow anything until a couple months in, at least 3 or 4 months in.
Heck yeah! And what kind of torch did you end up getting?
I got my Red Max with the Mega Miner top fire.
Okay, yep.
Later on, I had to get my Smith Little hand torch to go along with that as well.
Heck yeah, it's crucial.
It was a game changer.
Yeah, man, it took me like 14 years, I think, to get one of them bad boys.
Oh, wow.
Like, I've always had a hand torch in the studio of some sort, usually like a national, 3A with like a 5-hole or some shit. But, yeah, definitely nice to have the jeweler's little tiny hand torches and then have all the variations of different tips you can get, the Hornet tips and what have you to go along with it. It's pretty cool. It's good stuff.
Oh, yeah, I've got my eyes on the Shubba Whisper tip.
Nice, hell yeah. Nice little plug there for Shubba. So after the pendants and stuff, did you get when you got into the hollow form, implosions, did you then transfer into more of the functional art and what have you?
I wouldn't call the functional stuff that I do art. I mostly just do clear, little chillums and spoons that are. It's a what do you want to call them? China beater shit, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Just the simple stuff to just kind of sell off, and that pays for the color for me to do the implosion stuff that I do.
Heck yeah, yeah, it's important, man. When you're starting off doing that, to have a a bread and butter line like that, you know, like you're saying, like the China Killer stuff that you can go to a shop and you can actually sell it for a cheaper, not cheaper price per se than the Chinese shit, because you don't want to really do that, but you can still sell them a quality made, American made product at a really affordable price. They can then take that and sell it and be a good
right. Yeah, I mean, I can out here. I can pretty much match their wholesale prices from their distributors.
Mm-hmm.
They got jacked up pretty high for some odd reason out here.
Interesting. It's like the Chinese stuff all of a sudden became popular and the prices went up or some shit.
I guess it's the lack of smoke shops out in the hill country where I'm at. There's only a couple of them, and
yeah, that makes sense. More of a supply and demand kind of deal. Yeah, that makes sense.
It's not like we're in Austin where there's 30, 35 smoke shops and everyone's got, you know, $1,000 smoke pieces.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like my town isn't necessarily that type of, I guess, I'm not going to say quality, because we definitely have some quality work here, but we definitely have the 35 shops in a 2-block radius that everybody has the same stuff, you know, and the tourists can come in and buy disposable pieces. You know, it's interesting. We have a really weird demographic here in my area, like a lot of artsy fartsy stuff and a lot of money, but then at the same time, like some of the collectors here tend to want to drive out of the town to get their custom pieces. And we have some shops that have come in that are higher end shops now too, which is nice. So it's starting to come in more so, but it's always been like the small record store, you know, old pawn shop kind of place that, you know, had a little case in the back of the store. And now those same stores have expanded and gotten bigger and sell more glass, but it's still an interesting kind of, you know, predicament here with the demographic of the people that live here, and it's slowly changing, so it's kind of nice, which is good stuff.
Right. Yeah. I remember there were a ton in Tampa when I was there. I can't even imagine how many there would be now.
Oh Jesus! Yeah, you have no idea, bro. Yeah, it took. We went through a little lull in the time period when they were trying to ban pipes completely in Florida, and a lot of the shops.
I remember that. Yeah, I got some stuff really cheap at that point.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah.
Man,
yeah.
It was crazy. I got this amazing Mike Fro piece for like $150 from a shop that had no idea what it was.
Holy crap!
Yeah, it blew my mind, and then I didn't know what it was quite really until a couple years later. And as soon as I figured out what it was, I went to go put it in like a safe place, dropped it.
Oh, man.
Broke the whole fucking thing.
Oh, irony is a son of a bitch sometimes, huh?
I cried for a good few hours after that. It was just like,
yeah.
Why?
That sucks. Well, now you're in the industry, and maybe one day you'll run into Mike Fro, and you can collab with him and get your piece back, but get one even better.
Yeah, Mike Fro, if you're listening to this, yeah, let's do it.
Hell yeah.
I'll come to you.
I'll send him a DM with the link to the show so he can hear it right to himself. It's funny, dude. So, yeah, man, so in your work now that you're doing, like, you know, speaking of Mike Fro, like, do you have influences in your work and, you know, inspiring-wise, and kind of where you want to kind of head towards in your game and where you want to be?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's a few. Adam Reitz, John Williams, Yush, Steve H. Those are the guys that I just think, really could look up to as what I would say I want to be.
Heck yeah. What I want to be when I grow up.
Exactly.
Yeah, it was cool seeing Yusheen winning the Pipe Classic this past week as well.
Yeah, he came down for the Armadillo Art Class Initiative. I'm going to plug that for a second. It's this huge thing they do in Austin down at St. Elmo's Fire Glass Studio. And it benefits Meals on Wheels in Austin. And, oh, man. But, yeah, Yusheen came down there, and he made the Sherlock that was blue and yellow, just beauty.
Heck yeah.
Easily my favorite piece of the whole weekend. If I had I don't even remember how much it went for, but I did not have that much money at the time.
Yeah, man, it's fun. I like, it's guys like Yusheen when they really find their niche and their style-wise, in the community, and you can you can spot their work anywhere now. It's like, it's like Mike Luna and his dragons. Like there's a lot of guys doing dragons, but you can see Mike Luna's dragons out there, and you're like, oh, that's a Mike Luna dragon. Like you totally know. But yeah, man, it's cool. So yeah, that's why I was kind of curious because being so young in the industry, but also young, as a person and human in general, it's cool to be growing up in this community and in the industry and as a glass artist in general, and to have these just exuberant amount of incredible artists that are out there now that have found their medium being glass, that now you can, find your expression, but also find influences that are helping you find your expression too. It's pretty badass. I like it a lot.
Oh yeah, I definitely am coming up in the second generation coming of the glass definitely coming up in like the second coming of the glass stuff. Back in the when it all started was like the first coming up of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
I hope I'm not talking out my ass because I'm so young and I don't know all this shit.
Oh, that's cool, man. I'll correct you if you need to be.
It's just what I'd imagine. It was big, and then kind of, and then it's just gonna get, it's just going up from here. And
yeah. It's like when I first started, it was kind of a more on the tour, Fish Tour, Dead Tour, Widespread Panic, like the whole jam band, kind of tour thing where glass was pretty prevalent in the scene. And then it started kind of weeding off, and they would have excess glass, and then I guess all this glass would go to like Chameleon or whoever was out there as distributors, and then those guys are driving all over the country, from shop to shop, selling all this stuff that was leftovers. But then people were like, oh, what the hell is this? Like myself included. And I was just completely intrigued by seeing these glass pipes, and being a consumer myself at the time when I was like 19, 20 years old, buying my first piece of glass, which was a Chameleon color-changing little peanut. I think I paid like $65 for it. Where nowadays you can go to any shop and probably pay like $30 for it, type of thing. But, back then nobody knew what the fuck it was. But I guess even nowadays it depends on who makes it. I mean, you could pay $600 for this for this thing. Who knows? But, yeah, man, it's definitely had its ebbs and flows. Once Operation Pipe Dreams came in, when the industry was really growing and the internet was kind of growing, everybody was like, oh, this internet thing. And the internet was so new just in general for everybody out there, between the porn industry and people that were marketing and selling stuff, like they weren't really sure how to regulate it. And then all of a sudden, concerned mom, senator, whoever the hell she was, gets a hair up her ass. And the next thing you know, there's this big thing going down, and everybody's freaking out. And, none of us knew what the hell we were going to do or if this even was going to last anymore. And we all went way underground, but it was still like, I think a lot of us, not everybody, but a lot of us still had that production mentality, where like we got to make 100 fucking pieces a week to feed our kids, kind of deal. Where now it's like when you start off, you should be doing that to really learn the material and the medium and get your foot in the door and really learn what you're doing. And then you get to a certain point where you can start getting your name out there and getting your product line going and really fine tune where you want to go with it. And then you can really find your place in the industry. But like, man, when I was first doing the show, I was asking guys like, where do you see this industry going in 5 years? And they were like, 5 years ago, I didn't see it going where it is now. So it's like I stopped asking that question because it's like nobody knows where the hell it's going to go. It's incredible to see. I can't even imagine if cannabis becomes legally federally, everywhere. It's gonna change everything. But we're going to see, man, this presidential election coming up, they've been asking questions about, the big topic of last time. The question that they asked them was about the marijuana laws, and 9 out of 10 of the candidates, whatever, they all said they would let the states choose their own laws, and they wouldn't, barge the doors down and enforce the federal, amendments that are out there. So it's kind of curious to see what's going to happen, dude. It's man, who knows? Next year we could all be, I don't know. I don't even want to guess.
I don't want to think about the options. I mean, I saw a picture on Facebook that was deadly terrifying of what the options might be.
Right.
Sometimes so just not think about that for now. Yeah. Worry about it when we go to vote, which everyone should do, even if you're lazy and absentee ballot like I do.
Hey, man, it's better than nothing. I think today, the day that we're recording this is actually National Registration Get Out the Vote Day type of deal. So, yeah, definitely. For those out there, I know in a sense it's all horse shit and rigged and whatever else, but at the same time, I still like to get my name out there and pick my side in a sense. makes a big difference. You know, especially in this political climate that we're in. You know, it makes a big difference. And I like the ideas of this time of year when this does come around. It really starts the conversations in all aspects of life. You know, and things that we're dealing with and social issues and whatever. So, I think the whole gay marriage and legalization of marijuana, conversations are definitely the big key ticket items. Even though the gay marriage thing has been federally changed, you know, it's still a big topic. So it's definitely good to talk about it, you know, and especially TV shows now and that are, you know, not promoting it, but they're still kind of.
No, there's TV shows that are promoting it, man.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I guess there is. Yeah, you're right. There is. I don't watch a whole lot of TV, so I'm not too familiar with all of them. But I feel it's more of a desensitizing. You know, it's like I sometimes wonder if all these fucking zombie shows that we have out there are just getting everybody like desensitized to the whole zombie thing, so that when that shit actually happens, we're just gonna be like, oh, it's a fucking zombie. It's like watching a squirrel across the street. We'll just try not to run it over and be careful. Don't hit the zombie. You know, who knows? It's kind of weird.
Damn, that gives me something to think about.
Yeah, there you go, man.
All right.
Yeah, you never know. Never know. So we've gone completely off topic, but that's all right. That's what the show's all about,
way
man.
Out there.
Oh, shit. So, yeah, man. So I guess with going back to the glass talk, like, are you looking at getting into doing trade shows yourself or in like craft fairs and art shows and stuff and get yourself out there? Or are you kind of sticking with the social media side of things right now? What's your game plan?
Social media is probably the number one thing for me right now, but I'm definitely working on getting out in the public eye more. We did a demo this past weekend at a smoke shop in Marble Falls, and you know we had probably 100 people roll through and come out and watch the 7 of us that were out there. And I really want to get into doing more festivals and stuff. I set a goal in my mind that within the first 2 years, at least, I would like to do one of the major shows, even if it's just like a part of someone's like booth that they're just like, hey kid, yeah, throw a couple shit down, you know?
Yeah, man. Yeah, absolutely.
You got to set a goal somewhere, and that's where it's at.
Do you have any other artists around your area that you work with, ever?
Not in the direct area, Marble Falls, and then where I'm at, kind of a lull. Whenever I can get into Austin, though, tons of people in Austin, man. I mean, you probably know it's the hub of it's the hub of Texas glass, really. Yeah,
man. It seems like Austin, Texas, is a hub for a lot of cool shit going on. You know, it's
an interesting place for the product. I mean, like the entire baller section studio down there. Just every single one of those guys is one of the top glass blowers that I could think of and name off.
Yeah,
it's a weird thing to just be like, wow, that exists right down the street. Like whenever I go to my glass supply, their shop is right across the parking lot. I'll like look and be like, oh shit, there's Salt getting out of the car, gonna go crush something out for $10,000. Just a normal day.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, man, he's a great what's the word I'm looking for? I guess a great example on how you can take a talent and be creative and have this really cool idea and concept and philosophy for what you do and make a name for yourself and kill it. I mean, like,
oh yeah, I destroy it.
Yeah, like he's so smart as a teacher, educating the community on how to market yourself. I mean, just alone having an Instagram page that's, Salt POD, and he's doing his Pendant of a Day auctions, and, it's amazing to see the number of pieces that he cranks out, how much he's getting for it on a daily basis, and the fact that he's also very charitable, which is one of the biggest things with this community that I love, is how charitable this community really is,
Right. His studio is the one that hosts the Armadillo Art Class Initiative.
Right. Yeah.
It's the absolute definition of charity.
Yeah, it's fantastic because I know he even does with his pendant of a month. He'll do like a whole week's worth of pendants that it's all just going to charity. And setting stuff up for himself. It's fascinating. But what I also like about him, which is something I jumped on with that concept, was to start your day off with a pendant. I mean, more or less, I don't know exactly because I haven't talked to him personally yet. I'm actually wanting to get him on the show, but the idea that you start your day off with a pendant to warm up your body, warm up your eyes, warm up your soul. I mean, everything, and the fact that if you did that every day for 300 days in a year and you sold each pendant for $50, I mean, you could, make $15,000 extra money a year just making a pendant a day to start your day off. You do that at the beginning of the day and the end of the day, you can make 30 grand extra a year, just for doing 300 days a year. So you take off 65 days in a year. Yeah, 365 days. Yeah, so just some simple math, but the idea is that I'm sure that that's what he does, or he'll have an artist come collab or whatever, and he'll have some leftover glass, and he'll take that, like the Steve Sizlove one he just did. I'm sure him and Steve worked together. He had some extra pieces of Steve's work laying around, so he threw it together in a pendant, and voila, he's got this badass Steve Sizlove salt collab pendant that he sells for $10,000 fucking dollars. I mean, not that much, but that's the idea is that he can do that.
That's one of the benefits of having that studio set up. Like, he could just go in there and he'll be like, "Oh, hey, Mike Evans, let's do something." Boom, amazing piece of art. Or him and Rude Boy or Spliffy Steve. They can just throw anything together and it's going to be amazing, whatever it is.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's like with my studio that we have now with my brother and his buddy Eli, who's becoming a friend of mine now as well. And Eli's been about 2 years into this. And then my buddy Chad. And, Chad's in the middle of kind of redeveloping his self as an artist. So to have me in there, the old dog, and then my brother, who's been doing this now for about 5 years, and then Eli, who's newer, doing this for 2 years, we're all influencing Chad now to really find his way to where he wants to go in this whole thing. And it's the whole concept of kind of this brotherhood, unity, kind of feeding off each other concept. I mean, it's such a big deal. Like I've worked for myself in my own studio for almost my entire career. I've shared studio space here and there with other artists, but I've always gone back to my cave in a sense. And man, I tell you, I couldn't be happier now to be in the middle of a space with these guys, to be feeding off each other and developing and growing, and bouncing ideas off each other and collabing. And I mean, we've already all done collabs together, the whole 9 yards. We've only been in there now 2 months, as we've been doing this process. But even just to be able to go to a studio and see that happen, like you're saying, to be able to have access to go see these guys working together and how people interact and become creative together, it's such a huge foundational thing at your age, like I've said earlier, at your age as a human, but also as your glass age in a sense too. It's phenomenal. It's such I'm happy for you that you're in the situation that you're in, and you also seem to have a head on your shoulders and a biggest business acumen that you have this awesome direction to go in, dude. So again, I applaud you for where you're at, because you just got to, I think your story and where you're at will help influence and inspire other guys and girls that are in your same kind of area where they're just new into this. They're figuring this shit out, So it's...
Yeah, as long as they remember to just have patience and persevere. Those were the two things that I was told first and foremost. Be patient and don't give it up.
Yeah, absolutely. Well said, my young Jedi. Oh man, so
nice.
Yes, sir. So yeah, dude. So I guess in that sense, in terms of business stuff, how are you setting yourself up business wise?
I have an Etsy shop. It's etsy.com/indicative glass. It's INDICATIVEGLASS.
Nice.
Yeah. I sell just the pendants through there, since they've got a rule against paraphernalia, I guess, and I don't want to rock their boat. So if you want a pipe of mine, they're in shops, or contact me directly about that kind of stuff. But Etsy, family friendly. You can send it to your grandma. I've sent it to my aunts and my mom's friends and whatnot. It's all good for that.
Yeah, dude. So how do you keep track of your sales and stuff? Do you have a generic book that you're using, or do you use any kind of online accounting or programs or anything?
The last time we spoke, I had just had a paper document stuff, but upon our last conversation, you made me realize that it'd probably be good to have both. So I've been slowly working on getting it transferred onto my computer as well, just so I can have, double records.
Yeah, it's huge. And it also, I like, because I'm a very tactile person, so I enjoy writing it down on paper. But just the whole idea of having a backup, and also the way computers work, it's nice to have them calculate shit for you yourself. And then also, like, a year from now, you can see where you were this year compared to last year and have, like, a little graph chart set up or whatever. So it's easy to see what you did last year. It helps you to set up budgets. It helps you forecast sales, all that stuff. And it also can show you, too, that you're growing as an artist, and you're what you're doing.
Yeah, it definitely helps keep track, especially with the writing it down. Yeah, I can do it. I know what I'm writing it down. But the computer programs, just even a simple Excel program, it can type in the numbers and it'll calculate the differences for me, and it's just so simple.
Yeah, it is. Do you have an accountant or anything that you use, or do you do all your tax and stuff for yourself? I mean, I know you're you're 6 months into this, so it's kind of a new thing. But how are you going about that?
Yeah, my accountant is my father.
Nice.
He actually has he has an accounting degree, I guess. That's what he went to school for. And he just kind of does it for us now. He's retired.
Heck yeah. Does he focus on small business type stuff, or is it just all around?
Well, he owned his own small business. I guess he currently still does own it. But medical software and billing. But he just does the accounting little thing just for us on the side, I guess.
Hell yeah. Yeah, it's nice to have that in the family. I'm sure he was also an influence in that area, too, with the business side of things for you.
Yeah, I ask him questions before I do things, mostly. I learned a long time ago that he has the right answers. It's because he's been there.
Yeah, it's one of those things that's hard to learn when your parents tell you one thing and they're like, you'll understand in 10 years from now what I'm saying to you right now. So, yeah. I definitely
10 years later, and I'm like, I understand. I get it now.
Yep. Yeah, I deal with that with my 16-year-old right now. I'm like, you'll understand. Just give it some time. It'll sink in. That's so funny. Hey, dude, can you give me 2 seconds? I got All right, I'm back.
Awesome.
You back to yourself, man?
Yeah. Wait, what?
All right. We are live.
Oh, fuck. It's been an early morning. Forgive me.
Yeah, man. I'm up at 5:30, I guess, to get my kids to school on time.
That's about right. 5:30.
Yeah, I'm actually trying to keep that routine going so I can get up early and get to the shop on time and be done by 1 or 2 in the afternoon and have a full day.
Yeah, I'm liking it up here, getting up early, and then I've started to get accustomed to staying up a little bit later. So I'm going to do a morning shift, so from 5:30, 6 o'clock till about noon. Then I'll break for lunch, watch some TV, do my exercise stuff, normal things, and then go in around 6 to 10, 6 to 11, crush out another couple hours of work.
Heck yeah. That's good stuff. Yeah, it's important, man. I always preach about working in shifts, too, because, you're working a 3 or 4 hour shift at a time, and you can walk away and take a break and do your emails or social media stuff or bathroom and eat and whatever you got to do, and then, come back to it later if you need to, or if you have a full day, you can come back to it an hour or something like that. It's definitely important to spread it out, especially the physical side of things, giving your body a break,
Yeah, that 12 hours at one time is rough.
Yeah, dude. I've done it before. And my Disney shifts, they're usually a 10-hour day, and I don't work straight through it for 10 hours. But if our store is full of people, there's days where I'm at Magic Kingdom and I'm sitting there for, I get there at 11 and I'm off at 10. And I get basically an hour and 45 minutes or 2 hours throughout the day, break-wise, even though I still do take breaks here and there and bullshit and talk with guests and stuff. It's, if that store is packed full of people, man, it's amazing. There's days where I'm like, holy shit, I've been here for 6 hours and I haven't moved. kind of thing. You just lose track of time. But then you also realize you have a kiln full of stuff, too, on top of it all, which is nice. Even though it's
You're
not...
like, oh, I gotta get to it.
Yeah, I got a kiln full of Olafs that I'm not making any money on. But whatever. It's all fun and games. So do you have any kind of... Oh, go on. I'm sorry. I didn't interrupt you there.
I was just going to say, that sounds like a dream job, production-wise.
Yeah, man, it's interesting. It's one of those situations that from the outside... If I was to walk away from this position and quit this job ever, people would be like, "What the fuck? You're crazy. That's an awesome job." It's also why I've gone seasonal because it is. But it's like, it's like any other job. It's the perks are great. It's this awesome, sweet environment, which I love. Some people probably couldn't stand it, and then honestly, it does to work on the property. It definitely takes a specific kind of like-minded individual type of thing to be able to deal with. Listening to kids.
You couldn't be talking like we do.
No, exactly. No, trust me, dude. There's times where I'm like, I'll say hell, and I'm like, oh man, I can't really even say that. But like people ask me what I'm making, and I'm like, oh, I'm making Olaf's butt right now. And and I can say butt because in Frozen, the movie, he says, well, look out for my butt, like several times in the movie. So I'm like, I'm going to use that term. Because a lot of times when I'm making Olaf, for instance, or there's a lot of items I make, and a lot of glasses like this, it's very phallic looking, So like the women are giggling. Oh my God, he's making a penis.
Yeah.
Look at he's making a penis. Like I can totally like see their lips moving and like giggling with each other. And
every single blank. Looks like a penis.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like you just can't help but make it. But that being said, it's still fun to be able to say, yeah, I'm making Olaf's butt right now. Little kids giggle. It's funny stuff. But yeah, man. Again, it's like anything else. It's a job, but it's also. I've been able to turn it into a hobby in a sense with perks, being on seasonal now, and it's more or less on an as needed basis if I'm available kind of deal. But it took me 3.5 years of busting my ass to be able to get to a point to where I could personally with my business walk away from it, but also to be able to with them have my reputation with them good still, and my rapport still good to where I could still stay on, and not quit necessarily, and be welcomed back, which is. It's a pretty cool thing to have. It's interesting. I definitely miss it at times when I'm not there. It's kind of weird. When I'm there, I definitely appreciate it a lot more now that I'm not there as much as I was when I was doing like 7 days in a row drives and at 1 hour, 3 hour round trip. 7 days in a row got kind of old.
Right. It's not exactly. It's not it'd be terrible now. But what is it? 10. 4?
Oh yeah, I-4. Yeah, I-4 sucks.
Oh, hated it.
Yeah. The drive home.
One in Texas, it sucks.
Oh yeah, dude. But like anything like for instance, this podcast, it got started because I would take advantage of the time on the road and I would listen to podcasts for that hour and a half or one way, and I would get education on the road. Listening to shows and getting my business kind of mindset and all kind of areas of life. I was listening to different shows and. I took complete advantage of that time that I had. It was kind of my talking up myself excuse for making the drive sound better than what it actually was, I guess, kind of thing, But I definitely took advantage of the time, and I think in anything in life, if you have an opportunity to do something that you think could lead to something else, definitely take it because you never know. Take the, like. For you, for instance, you made a deal to come down and check out these guys working one day at their studio and get a little lesson, and here you are now 6 months later, and you're doing your own thing. It's it's amazing. It's that whole idea of too that where I'm learning this year to say no to orders or just activities that I feel will not benefit me necessarily because the one thing I say yes to means I have to say no to something else. And those things you say no to sometimes could be more beneficial than the ones you said yes to, in the long run.
Right.
So, I hear a lot of the big boy business people out there talk about it. It's the whole concept of it. And I forget who said the actual quote, but the quote is, if it's not a hell yes, it should be a no. But at the same time,
I like that. That's a damn.
Yeah, right. I know that's what I said when I first heard it too. Yeah, there's a couple quotes that I definitely live on. That's one of them, and the other one is if you're not embarrassed by a product that you released, that means you waited too long. And typically, like, people wait for, a product line or a show or a website that you're like, oh, this sucks. I don't want to put this out yet. I don't want to do this yet. This glass I'm making sucks. I want to get it out there. But fuck it, man. If you have a pipe you're making or a vessel or a vase or whatever, if it functions and it doesn't look too bad, someone's going to love it. And then just go on to the next thing. That way you can at least reap the benefits of the monetary side of it to help recoup your money to buy more glass.
Right. Yeah, I never heard that, but I guess I've always kind of done that. Like, even looking back, even at the shitty pieces I used to put on my Etsy site, I was like, wow, someone liked it. Yes.
Yeah, man. As long as I've done this for, especially the retail side of it, I have never, and I try to stop trying to understand it because it doesn't make any sense to me. Like, some of the stuff that I make that I'm like, man, this is probably the nicest thing I've ever made. And it'll sit on a shelf for like 10 years, but then something I make, I'm like, damn, this thing is ugly. It sells like 2 days or a day or what. It's just strange. I don't know.
Yeah, I know that feeling.
So, yeah, I guess the whole lesson learned there is just if you make something and it doesn't have a crack in it and it looks nice, it's kind of nice, just get rid of it and sell it. Somebody will love it.
Oh, yeah. I have that's where my pendants come in. I don't keep anything that I make except for the ones that have the big fucking cracks in the middle of them. Those are for me.
It reminds me, too, another little thing here. I'm doing a demo this weekend, and I have a couple clogged ports on my Carlisle, so like it looks like kind of crazy right now with the flame. And
yeah.
I can't unclog them. Like, I don't know if it's what the hell happened, but I got to get clean. So anyways, I'm about to go do this demo with like 10 other glass artists, and I'm sure they're all running GTTs and newer shit, and I'm in there with my 13-year-old Carlisle with some clogged holes in it. She still cranks away and makes a lot of beautiful stuff, but it's gonna be interesting showing up with this whole thing.
It'll be awesome. No, I like the big. It's like a nice grouping of torches. You can see all the different ones at demos. It's really nice. This past weekend we had 3 guys on Red Maxes, 1 guy on a Carlisle, and 2 guys on GTTs, and everyone was like, "Wow, all the different torches." And you could see, the big Mirage flame, and then the tiny little center fire on the Carlisle. Awesome.
Yeah, it's cool. It's like who's bringing the guns to the gunfight, and then some gun shows up with a knife, something. It's good stuff. So yeah, dude. Any other kind of business talk you want to talk about to kind of inspire anybody out there that's getting going with this?
For business.
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm just kind of curious where your head's at in this whole in the game of things.
Everyone should try it at least. I mean, you never know. I didn't know. Go for it.
Yeah. Hey, whatever. It works for me. Because you never know. Like you said, I know Rashawn Jones, to quote him, he was saying glass isn't for everybody. And then he said, just like asparagus, it isn't for everybody.
I fucking hate asparagus.
Yeah, see, there you go. And I love it. Makes my pee smell funny, but I love this stuff.
I can't do it. I can't stand the taste.
Hell yeah, dude. So I think before we go into any more black holes and tangents, we should pause for a little thank you to our sponsors, and then we'll get our asses into the lightning round. Sound good?
Sounds good.
All right, man. We will be right back. This episode of the Wise Guy Radio Show is sponsored by Wise Guy Media, a new company dedicated to showcasing the talents and offerings of their customers through podcasting, eye-catching graphics, logo, and customized web design. Established in 2015, Wise Guy Media is continuing to push the elements of web and logo design with outside-of-the-box ideas and up-to-date graphic-generating programs. Whether you want to launch your own podcast, need a website, or a new logo for your brand, they have all your needs covered to promote yourself and get your brand recognized in your industry. To see what they've been up to, check out www.wiseguyradio.com. That's WYZGUYRADIO.com. All right, so now we are in the lightning round, man. And the lightning round consists of a half dozen or so questions with about 30 to 60-second answers from yourself, if you'd like, and you can expand upon them as usual, like we do with everything else and this entire interview we've had, which has been a ton of fun. So, are you prepared for the lightning round, man?
Yeah, sure, why not?
All right, let's do it. So, if you could work with any living glass artist that you have not worked with yet, who is it and why?
J-Mac. I would love to make an implodable spore type I don't even know what the concept is yet, but J-Mass.
Heck yeah. What are your top 5 favorite colors in glass?
Top 5. I'm going to go with Jamboree. Glass alchemy is great color. Great color. Really Tealy. Gotta give some love to that. Blue cheese has become a new favorite as of last night. It is delicious, as the name suggests. Let's see. Loki's lipstick is nice. It just makes me think of Alien Tech, which kind of makes me sad, though. And I'm going to go with Alien Tech because it's gone and it makes me sad.
Yeah. Heck yeah. So what's your worst injury you've had in the glass studio in the short time you've been in there?
Just this morning, I dropped a 20 mil rod on my foot and cut a part of my toe open.
Nice. Were you wearing flip-flops or something?
I had not actually gone out to work, and yes, I was wearing flip-flops. I was really upset at myself for that.
Yeah, I wear flip-flops in the studio, dude. I can't tell you how many times I burn my feet.
It's Florida. You have to wear flip-flops.
Yeah.
That's why I do it over here. A lot of the time, people look at me funny, like, don't wear flip-flops. Well, where's your boots? I'm like, it's hot.
Yeah,
Flip-flops.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of times I'm barefoot, and I got a nice little squishy mat that I stand on. But
yeah, squishy mat.
Yeah.
Squishy mat is great.
Yeah, it helps my back out. But yeah, it's still not very intelligent on my part to pick glass. Even though I've got calluses on my feet like a fucking sneaker, so I don't really feel it too much.
No, man.
You know, but still.
Fox fan doesn't wear shoes at all. He walks around barefoot, fucking on the gravel. That man is like stone feet.
Oh yeah, him and I would get along just fine. So, in the studio, do you watch TV, listen to radio, or do you do both?
Recently got into the satellite radio. I need to get a TV out there. The more I see people that have TVs in their studios, I'm like, why the fuck don't I? You know? And then I remember, I have to buy a TV for that.
Yeah, I use my iPad. I got a little iPad kind of telescoping arm kind of holder gimmick that allows me to have it away from myself and away from its flame and heat and stuff, but I can still position it to have it in the corner of my eye. I do recommend, though, that if people that do have TVs or are interested in doing it, I usually watch things that I can listen to. Like I've subscribed to the WWE Network. I'm an old wrestling fan, and so I catch up on like old wrestling shit and stuff. And a lot of it, I like the commentary for it, more or less, not necessarily the action that's going on the screen. So a lot of it I just listen to. Or I'll watch like old movies or TV shows that I have already seen 1,000 times that I can just listen to it and visualize it in my head as I'm working. But in terms of what
not get too distracted by it.
Yeah, exactly. But with what you're doing, like doing the dots and stuff, I mean, it's like it's really focused. But for me personally, it depends on what mood I'm in and what I'm doing. If it's just monotonous bullshit, then I'm just doing some cheap, whatever quick production. I'll throw a couple TV shows on or watch a documentary or something like that. But if I'm like getting in a creative, super focused mindset, then I definitely will put on some tunes. Or sometimes I'll have silence and not have anything at all. It's kind of interesting.
No, I can't do the silence. The fan, the AC, no. That drives me crazy.
Yeah, I hear you, dude, for sure. I guess for the last and final question, then, if you were on an island, whether deserted or a resort, it's your island, so you make it how you want to make it. And there was a glass studio there, and all the studio provided was a torch, a couple of things of gas, and a kiln. What 5 items would you bring?
Oh, okay. Gonna go with my reamer, pair of tweezers, hand torch, a paddle, and my glasses.
Sweet. Can't forget the glasses.
No, because I will just go blind. Why not?
Yep.
Fun. All the kids are doing it.
Yeah, man. There's actually, I don't know if you guys have seen that video out there. There's a guy that's using like a map torch thing and making Boro on it. And it's one of those viral in the scene YouTube videos. It's just absolutely ridiculous. Like the guy's got no glasses on whatsoever.
I need to see this. Where shit.
Yeah, I don't remember what it's called. I know Torch Talk, the group. They sometimes people will post some funny aspect videos on there that they found, kind of making fun of it because I guess this guy's got a couple videos out there that he's done that are him working on these torches with no glasses on at all, and it's like, holy Jesus, what the hell's this guy doing?
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, setting a terrible example, which I don't like. Especially when it's a viral video like that. It's like, man, you got to really make sure that you're setting a good example.
Yeah, because someone's going to see that and do it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like, man, are you kidding me? I'm just running through here real quick just to see if I did forget a question. I think I did, but man. It's going to drive me crazy until I actually look at my list. Where the shit is that at? So what did you make this morning?
I just did a couple of teal and Illuminati stuff. One is a flower explosion that I wanted to try out. Son of a bitch. It came out pretty nice, I guess. I'm going to work on it and do some fun things to it, either tonight or tomorrow. I might do more prepping up some stuff tonight. Oh, I got to do some stuff for you tonight. That's right.
Yeah, I can't wait to get those in the mail. That'd be fun.
Oh, actually, I might just send you the... Oh, yeah. Yeah. I got one for you already.
Sweet. Hell yeah, I like that.
Gonna need...
Are you doing Implosions with the Illuminati? Are you working with... You're saying that's what you're working on?
Yeah, not a whole lot of it. It's mostly the color, and then the Illuminati is just a little here and there as an accent. Or sometimes... We did a few of them. They're implosions that we can turn into eyes instead of doing the eyeball milling and stuff. I left the Illuminati in as the pupil and the iris.
Nice. I found the question that I missed. Are you ready?
Ready.
If you could describe the sound of glass cracking in one word, what is it?
Oh, man. My friend has a electric buzz zapper. It is the exact same sound, like a frying insect.
Interesting. Hell yeah. I like descriptive, answers for this. I like the one-word answers. Like I've gotten fucked a couple times now, which is I dig too. But yeah, I like the different sounds that you can describe.
Oh, there's so many.
Yeah, it sucks. So yeah, man. So I guess to wrap this up here, if you have any parting piece of advice that you can give a newbie and also an OG glass artist, or just all together, and then also how we can find you out there in cyberspace.
Yeah, patience. Patience is the number one thing. I had a huge lesson in patience at the demo this weekend. Fucking dealing with the wind, dealing with the sun, and it was a big lesson of a day. Just be as patient as possible.
Heck yeah. And then where can we find you in cyberspace?
You can find me on Etsy at etsy.com/shop/indicative glass.
You want to spell that again for us?
Yeah, INDICATIVEGLASS. And then you can find me on Instagram at Mike B. Glass. That's Mike, MIKEEEE, like a little bug. And then Glass, because apparently everyone else's last name, too.
Yeah, man, it's funny. Because I go by J. Michael, but then my Instagram's J. Michael Glass, so a lot of people are like, hey, what's up, J. Michael Glass? I'm like, hey. But also lately...
We're just one big Glass family, man.
I know. I love it, right? It's like we're all a bunch of Smiths. But we are, man. We're glassmiths, so fuck there. It all works perfectly. There you go. Fuck.
Full circle.
I just found the entire whole irony of all of it. I'm amazed.
Yeah. And there you go. That's the note to end on. Boom.
Yeah, there you go, dude. Well, thanks, bro. It's been fun chit-chatting and going in circles and off on crazy tangents and whatever, but it's all very helpful information for everybody out there, whether you've been doing this for a long time or just getting started. You know, it's like You and I could probably go on for a day, just kind of horse shitting around.
Oh yeah.
You know, just having fun with this, and maybe one day we will. We'll do like a 12-hour marathon episode, then blow everybody's minds.
Oh, that'd be for one of those. I'd have to come to Florida for that kind of stuff, man.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll just sit in the studio and blow some glass and have mics hooked up to our little shirts, and you know, just.
Oh, could you imagine some of the conversations people have had in their studios doing that kind of stuff?
Yeah, man, it's funny you say that with forever, and I'm sure it's probably. And I know we're continuing this conversation, but whatever. So, you know, we've been talking.
Yeah, fuck it.
Yeah, exactly. Fuck it. We've been talking in our studio forever about doing a reality TV show, just because of how much different personalities. Not in my studio now, but studios I've been in before. You know, because you have all these different personalities coming together, all this potential drama that can be happening, and you know, people breaking up with each other, and you know, people fucking each other, and like it's. You know, in good ways and bad ways, and you know, it's interesting to kind of have the whole idea. And I've been using Periscope a lot lately, and I've just been setting it up in the studio. And a lot of business people that use Periscope will actually talk to their audience and ask questions and get feedback and stuff. And I just give like a real basic intro and then just set the camera up on my phone up on my thing with my glasses over it to block out the sulfur shit, and so people can actually see what we're doing. But it's made me think about putting like some different cameras in each space for, you know, we could all film and go in between camera shots and really do like a interesting reality TV show of some kind of sorts. Because like you're saying, man, some of the shit that we talk about in studios, I don't even know if it's even actually good for public.
No, I would say it would be a while before that can happen. Definitely, there's a lot of stuff that goes on in the studios that it can't be seen by the public quite yet.
Yeah, totally. You know, I was watching, you know, Kurt B that does the honey bears and stuff. He did for a while.
Kurt B Instagramming.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So Kurt B's got some funny videos. If you guys haven't seen it yet on his Instagram, I love his work. I love his personality, his style. He's a super cool cat guy, and he just recently did this release of these bottles that he made that are elixir bottles that are just phenomenal concept and idea for doing this. But he's got some videos on there on how the proper way to make frit, and they are just absolutely fucking hilarious. Like, it just gives me some funny ideas on things that we could do in the studio to like play around with, fucking around with doing videos and stuff, you know. Oh,
I know a few guys were talking about getting drones that could just fly through and just like give you a real quick view of what goes on.
It's funny you say that, man, because I was talking about that with the guys the other day. Because now they have the Star Wars drones out there you can get, like the little ones,
yeah.
Know? I don't know if
the giant Lennon Falcon one, man. You get go big or go home on that.
Yeah, exactly, dude. That's what I'm saying. It's like, fuck, man. You could put a high definition camera on that thing. Like my son and I saw him at Sports Authority. It was $125 for this 4-prop drone that came with a high definition camera, a video camera on there, and I was like, $125. I'm gonna buy 2 of these things and have battles out in the street. You know, it'd be so rad. But yeah, so if you guys want to go check out at Kurt B Instagramming is his Instagram, and he's got 3 different videos on. Oh, this one's episode 6, so he must have more than that. But God, I laugh my balls off every time I watch them. Funny shit. So
I don't think I watch them now.
Yeah, check them out. So, all right, homeboy. Well, I got to rock and roll, man. I got people at the studio waiting for me. I keep forgetting it's like 1 o'clock already. So it's been
sounds good.
Yeah, man. It's been an honor and a privilege to have you on here. And again, anybody out there that's listening to this show, you know, definitely persevere. Don't give up. You know, and also make sure that you are learning from somebody that knows what the fuck they're doing. Don't just like take knowledge from anybody, because not everybody has a skill set and doesn't, you know, has this foundation for really, really important habits that you need from the very beginning, whether it's safety, how to set up your studio properly, like the whole 9 yards. Like, make sure that your foundation is strong. And like Mike's here, it's like, you know, it's such an important thing to have, you know, dude. Like I said, you know, more, you know, applause to your brother for 6 months into this, and you're going strong, and I can only see positive things for you in the future, man. So keep killing it.
Thank you very much for having me, and thanks for that, man.
Hell yeah, I look forward to getting your glass in the mail and doing some collabs.
Yeah, those owls are going to look sick.
Yeah, I can't wait. Anybody out there that wants some limited edition collabs between myself and Mike, they'll be available soon here, probably in about a month or so. We'll see what happens. So hopefully less than that, just in time for Christmas.
Oh, yeah.
So, all right, brother. Well, I'm going to get the fuck out of here, and we will talk to you soon.
That sounds good.
All right, buddy. Take it easy, man.
See ya.
All right, buddy. See ya. Thank you guys so much for listening to this episode of the Wise Guy Radio Show. If you have any questions, comments, or remarks, please leave them in the show notes page area where it says comments. We'll see you soon. Have a wise night.